Right.
Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social for our episode on new releases. A bit of housekeeping before I start, because I forgot to do this last week. So I forgot to say that I will be at the Dallas. Well, actually, Dave and I will be at the Dallas Wind Up Show in March, 15th of March. So if you're there, let us know. I'll do a community post, and if you're going to be there, maybe we can do maybe we could do a meetup and stuff. So let me know there. Also, if you want to become a YouTube channel member, I've left the link at the top. Very much appreciated. I'm thinking I might do a members only live stream either later today or in the week. And then, yeah, I think that's my. I'm going to have forgotten something. I know I am, but I'll try and remember as we go through. With that seamless transition, let's do a wristwatch check. Dave, do you want to kick us off with your wristwatch check?
I will indeed. I am wearing. Well, I'm not wearing it if it decides to focus, but just deciding to be a little. Come on, there we. Oh, Jesus, goodness me! What is this thing doing?
There you go.
There, it's finally come on.
There we go.
And half of it.
So to Tony, there we go. There we go. To Tony, which is a Swiss brand, a very old established Swiss brand actually, who are probably a little bit out the limelight in terms of in the Western world, because they many years ago became the largest selling brand in mainland China, of all places. It's been, before China became super Western kind of consumerist, shall we say, and they were the biggest wedding watches. Everyone in China wanted a Titoni watch. They're still based in Biel, or just outside Biel in Switzerland, and this is the impetus. This is a ceramic one they do, which is a blue. Wow. Like a kind of baby blue ceramic and titanium watch with it's upside down with a zirconium ceramic dial on there as well. And it's it's not like Omega in that it's wavy, but it's this straight cut kind of dial on there as well. Pretty punchy. Comes in a ceramic bracelet as well as this like blue matching rubber strap as well. So yeah, it's upside down. My camera's not actually set up properly. Yeah, so this is a funky little thing. Notice I've not even wound it up because I just literally grabbed it off the shelf as the others all attest to. But anyway, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, they've like out Bamford George Bamford there. It looks like the most Bamford ever. It's a
Bamford that's not a Bamford. But there is Bamfords up there if you want to see a Bamford just for comparison's sake.
Yeah, if he's going to pay us for keep saying Bamford. Awesome. Todd, you're up next. What are you wearing?
I'm up next. Let's see here. I just can't get this off my wrist. I posted this in our What's Up area. This is the mid 2000, late 2000s Omega chronoscope, DeVille. It's a chronometer grade watch. It's 300 feet, believe it or not. Without a locking crown, and it's the 3133, yeah, the 3313. I get my numbers right, and it's this was done. It's a Frederic Paget design that Omega added their coaxial escapement to, and it's really fascinating too because you can see it here. If I can get it to go, you can see here the numbers. They're so highly polished, they turn black. And then if I turn it a little bit here, you can see on the subdial that like at 6, you see they come back. So it's fascinated with this watch.
Awesome.
It'll be a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
Cool piece.
And then I will this wristwatch check may contain a product promotion. I'm wearing my Seiko, my solar quartz, which I love, SNE 598. I'm wearing it on a Canadian strap mill seatbelt NATO, which I'm trying out. They sent me a bunch.
Don't say NATO. Don't say NATO.
Oh, nylon fabric 2-piece strap that
military styled fabric strap.
Yes,
similar to a British
trademarks.
Yes, I might get that's
cease and desist.
Somebody needs to do a deep dive on that guy, don't they? Like an expose.
Let's say that might be a foot.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Oh, can I?
Did you see someone? Do you see someone else got their comeuppance? Was it either today or the last couple of days? Someone's got their comeuppance, and the sentencing came out for a certain Mr. Farrer or Farrer.
Really? Oh,
Oh,
I've been
yes.
watching that on Reddit. Go on.
He got 6 years in federal prison.
That's
Ooh.
lucky, isn't it? He got off.
So he took apparently, well, I think it was a plea deal, but he pled guilty to one wire fraud, one something else, and one something else, and he got 6 years in the federal pen. So that's going to teach him a lesson or two. So he's the first it's the first of the big ones that's actually got caught out big style and actually made the mainstream. So
I think he got off lucky there because that wire fraud, Todd, you can get like 25 years to life, can't you, or something?
You can get a lot for wire
like what
fraud.
they get a lot of the. Was it that Al Capone it was done for tax, wasn't he? But I think they get a lot of the gangsters on wire fraud because they couldn't exactly pin them
wire
down.
fraud or tax fraud, wasn't it? Is the two that they usually get them on the IRS. But apparently, I didn't realize it was the Department of Justice released all of the kind of information about it. It was the IRS actually that went for him. He was investigated by an IRS investigator for wire fraud, and I think initially he was after, there was something like 24 million they were actually trying to prosecute him for, and then I think he did a plea deal down to admit one of each charge and take it, just make life easy for himself or for them as well.
If any of those, so Sean's saying mail fraud. Wire fraud's like interstate commerce, isn't it? So if you send a letter, I think across state lines, that's. Or is it wire fraud done on the phone? I forget.
Wire fraud.
I can't remember. I think they're all interlinked to some degree, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, it's that interstate. It like compounds it if you do it over state lines, doesn't it? I think as well.
Because it becomes federal at that point, I believe.
Well, it was definitely a federal case because it definitely said it was federal prison he did sentence to. So well, yep. There's someone that got their comeuppance.
Okay, so then, well, there you go. Breaking news on Casual Watch Talk Live there.
Yeah, there was a couple as well. There was also the final report about how Dinky came out yesterday, I think it was. It was either yesterday or Friday as well, about the whole buy-over from Watches of Switzerland. But apparently another they didn't name them, but a very large media corporation was in the bidding for them as well. But they weren't offering any money. They were offering get out of debt, be a good proper media set up again, or they went for the other option, which was give me the money.
So it was like maybe like a share, a paper trade.
I think it was we'll get you out of trouble and out of debt, and we'll make you back on your feet, or take the money from the retailer, which is what they did. So interesting, but interesting to see how that pans out as well.
It's interesting, and I'll definitely watch it for the nylon hook and loop. Single pass, double pass,
single pass through.
Do you know what's interesting? Considering over the world, the number of people that the second they've done any business in the United States, because you have to have done business in the US to be kind of like dragged into this, because I think he's only got the trademark for the United States, so you have to have retail or sell in the US, or you have to. One guy got done on eBay because he listed it as you could ship anywhere in the world, therefore you could ship to the States, therefore that dragged them into it as well. But interestingly, unless they've been very, very quiet about it, none of the big guys have got dragged into this. I mean, Omega openly sell NATO straps quite happily the world over, and they've not been dragged in. So he gets the feeling this guy's being very cautious about who he goes for, because he's definitely being the schoolboy bully. Because if he goes for Swatch Group or someone, he'll have a fight in his hands, and that will probably not end well.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, there is a gentleman in the US who trademarked NATO or NATO strap or NATO as a trademark when selling watch accessories or something, and he goes after a lot, because the guys over at Veya, they said that they had to, I don't know if they got a cease and desist or something, but they had to stop saying NATO strap. They didn't get sued, I don't think, but they got
oh no, they're actively threatening to sue, and then they're generally settling out of court. They're basically saying, we're going to sue you, we want XYZ, or pay us this much and don't use it again, and basically on you go. And a lot of the folk are obviously not wanting to fight, because the US legal system's not exactly known to be cheap and cheerful when it comes to civil suits, is it?
Yeah, even if because it's like the patent trolls, aren't they, or trademark trolls?
Effectively, it sounds like it. I'd love to see if he would ever actually go for NATO themselves, considering they do business in the United States quite a lot. I'm pretty sure they still call it NATO.
They do.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting court conversation.
I wonder if you had like NATO with the, full stops in between, or the periods for our American viewers. Whether you do it, because it is actually a NATO stock number, isn't it? But anyway, we very kindly got a super chat. Yeah, thank you very much, Thelonious Monk, for the super chat. In fact, we might as well answer this now. Thoughts on the new CW Dune and the Tag F1 Chrono? Well, Thelonious Monk, they're both not last week's podcast. The joint second best podcast on watches on iTunes with me and Palm and Andy's short of this in joint second place. Todd and I talked about both of these watches. I really like that Tag F1 Chrono. It looks like it's got integrated.
I think it's a pretty cool watch. I've said it before. I like a couple of Tag watches for sure, but they're not generally to my aesthetic taste. But over the last 2 years, they've really upped their game. I've said it before. They've really kind of lifted their quality standards and put a bit more thought into it. They're not quite as jelly mold as they were in the past. And I think, to be honest, fair play to them. They've kind of got them. Obscurity is the wrong word because it's like a massive brand name globally for watches at the end of the day. But I think with watch enthusiasts or diehard watch nerds, I think it was a brand that was seen as, yeah, they do a couple of okay watches, but you kind of move past them. I think they brought themselves really back into relevance as far as I'm concerned. I think that's a cool looking watch. Very 70s, 80s.
Yeah, I like it. It's getting that boyhood nostalgia back. It's a great question, Thelonious Monk. I really like this design.
Yeah,
the Dune,
cool.
The Dune, I'm a little bit salty about it because they took the date off. They took the date off the 300.
I love it.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
I think the first Dune was the first one, or the first of the new ones, not the collab they did with Oracle Time in the UK, where they did the kind of sandy coloured one. I'm sure it was. It was at British Watchmakers Day last year. I think Oracle Time announced it, and I'm sure it was a C65 Dune, all in this kind of like sandy, yellowy colour. And then, of course, they've now followed up with that kind of wavy dial in a whole load of different colours. I think I don't like some of them, but I think some of them are very cool.
Yeah,
I think, to be honest, if you hanker after a Seamaster 300 and don't want to whack out the, whatever it is, 5,000 or 6,000, then this is an extremely good looking alternative watch for the money.
I think they priced them really well too. I really like where these are priced. Unlike the Tag Formula One ones, I think are still a bit pricey for what you get.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are kind of verging into the bargain territory. Bargain's a big word in watches, but they are. I mean, Christopher Ward do produce an excellent quality watch. Certainly over the last 5 years, their standards have gone through the roof for what you get for the money.
Yeah. We're getting a few different spellings of NATO here. NATO. Or maybe Scottish would be like NATO.
That NATO sounds like some dodgy kind of like username for OnlyFans, doesn't it?
or maybe a disease of the foot. You get, I've got NATO, doc.
Terrible. Yeah.
Probably need to go to the doctor if you've got NATO like that.
Yeah, you get NATO.
Fungal infection.
Or in Scotland, that's when you lose your toe. Get NATO.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's have a look. Okay, so let's dive into some new watches. In fact, Todd, I'll start off with one of your picks.
Yeah. I thought so. I've always I call them Ikepod. Is that the right way to pronounce it?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, Ikepod. I don't have one. I've never owned one, but goodness gracious, I think they are really clever in what they've done. And this green one, it's a quartz watch, which is great. It's a two-hander, might as well. You can't tell the difference anyway. And I just love it. I love that dial. It's got this symmetry and the simplicity. Very, super clean. I just think it's really neat.
So it's an optical illusion that's making it look like the dial is
like it's curved.
Yeah. It's I totally agree with you. I weirdly jumped onto Ikepod relaunched themselves a few years ago now on Kickstarter, and they did two watches. They did pretty much this one, and they did pretty much a chrono version of that one as well. And they Try to think when that was. It was way before COVID. Must have been 16, 17, maybe round about then, something like that. And it's a fantastic watch. You know, they were, if I remember rightly, I'm pretty sure, I'll need to dig into Kickstarter. I'm pretty sure I paid like $300 for it when they launched them again.
Oh, nice.
And they've seemed to have got themselves pretty firmly established. They've been back in business since then. But when you look into the history of that brand as well, cool brand, you know, from back in the day, some pretty avant-garde stuff back in the kind of, what would it be, 90s, 2000s, when, what was his name? Was it Mark? No. Mark Newton, wasn't it? Mark Newson that was involved in.
I don't remember the name
as well. One of the guys that was friends with Johnny Ive, who obviously famously was at Apple and stuff. Yeah. And there's a story. How much truth's in it, I don't know, but the straps on them will very much remind you of the Apple Watch straps. And apparently they still own a lot of trademarks, and it was one of the straps designs for the original ones of these that actually became the Apple Watch design strap. Oh, it's almost identical to it.
So the kind of hook underneath.
Yeah, and a little loop, and even the material and the design of it and everything inside of it. When you hold them side by side with an Apple one, you're like, these are essentially the same thing. It's only the fitting's different, but it's the same effect. You know, like it looks like the strap's just part of the case. It doesn't look like there's a lug or anything. They fit differently, but the strap's almost identical. I think these are super cool, fun watches.
Yeah, I went down a bit of a Cartier Santos hole the other day, and they've got like an Apple type system for the new Santos straps, haven't they? Where it it's got the button and it clips in and clips out.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Because I'm sure that started with IWC, which is obviously in the same group within Richemont, and they've got the little, you just press a little button in the middle and the strap just clips off.
Yeah. The tag, my new tag chronograph is the same
Similar.
thing.
Yeah.
Similar.
Okay, next one up. Colby was going to join us, but unfortunately, he had his in-laws came an hour before he thought they were going to come, so he couldn't join. But this is one of his picks. This is the new Timex Giorgio.
Giorgio Galli.
Yeah. Oh, that's a strap system.
That's cool.
It's epically cool. Actually, we talked about this was it last week's podcast? I think it was, because you look back, you know, Timex are known for what? Broadly sub $100 watches, really, at the end of the day, for the majority of what they do.
Yeah.
And they did, was it 18 or 19? I think it was. They did the first collab, the first one of these as a collab watch, and he was, I think, a kind of freelance designer for them at the time. And then they did 2 or 3 iterations of that first one, and I think this is like variant 2, S2, because it was S1 the original in steel. Then they did a smaller S1. I think the original was like 4041. Then they did a 38, I think. Then they brought out the S2, and now they've done the S2 in full titanium dial. The case is amazing when you see them, and that system they've got for the bracelet, you can do it with your fingers. You just pull it out, turn it, and slide the links out. It's
fascinating, isn't it?
It's absolutely epically good. And I think now folk are going to suck through their teeth at this. I think, if I remember rightly, it's about $2,000, I think. Okay. But this, I'm pretty sure it's full titanium. It's got that easy adjust bracelet. It's fast on and off at the lugs as well. Titanium dial. And I'm pretty sure it's a Sellita movement. You know, I'm pretty sure it's a Sellita SW 200, 300, something like that. Yeah. I don't think this is bad value at all. I think it's a super clean looking watch, especially when you see that case.
1900, 1900.
38 mil. And it looks like a Sellita to me. Probably tell you in there somewhere what it is. But honestly, I think that is a cracking little watch if you want something a little bit out there. Yeah, 41. It's SW200. I don't think that's bad value at all, and I think it's pretty innovative with that bracelet and everything else about it. And I know for you folk are going to probably turn their nose up and go, yeah, but why would you pay $2,000 for a Timex? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah,
okay, next up on the docket is here you go, Todd. This is actually yours. This is the new Seikos.
Yeah, I found these recently. I think they're only released in Australia, although maybe there's other means to get it. But the Kentaro Yoshida is the artist that did the dial art for these, and he's known for these kind of cartoonish skeletons. You can really see it on that one there with the that's the wildflower version. And I just think I think they're fun. I think it's a neat collab. I mean, it seems like collabs are everywhere. It's still a 4R36 in the back, so it's just typical Seiko 5. The price isn't bad for something that's actually truly limited production. I think it's $200, $250 each.
You sure you didn't miss about 5 zeros off that? It's Seiko we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's $695. That's that may be Aussie.
I thought was it 500?
Might be. Yeah, might be.
Is that Aussie or is that US?
Yeah, no, it is. It's
Aussie. Yeah. So it's even
So that's
less.
super cheap.
It's super cheap, and the gold one doesn't appeal to me. I just because it it just doesn't. But I love that black one with the wildflower. I think that's kind of super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think personally, I like Seiko 5s. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's been Seiko 5 that I prefer to these ones. These are not super the gold ones.
This would not be your first Seiko 5. This would be one if you really want something a little different. And if
you're in the collecting hole,
or you want your third one or whatever. Very reasonably priced. I think it's fun avant-garde type of stuff.
Yeah. So Sean Holloway saying, I would love to know who buys a Timex for $2,000. I would if it had the date on it, I would. I know
if it had the date on it,
I would seriously consider that.
It's fun they didn't do that just to annoy you, Sam.
I know how Giorgio, because I pronounced his name wrong. You see, you knew that.
Galli.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I just looked. $695 Australian is like $425 US. So it's pretty. It's a slight uplift over the traditional Seiko 5 prices. It's not what they usually in the US, 400-ish.
I paid for mine. It's like the Times Sonar version. I think I paid $325.
Yeah, I think the most basic ones in the UK are about $280, and they go up to about $400 depending on which one you get.
Yeah. Right. Let's get on to the. We put it in the thumbnail. The watch that's. Let's bring out the gimlet.
The gimlet.
Yay!
I love this watch.
Bring it on.
Do. Yeah, and it isn't just because of certain somebody's on the live stream sometimes.
It's a cracker, to be honest with you.
It is a cracker.
I think it's for me. I mean, it helps that I like both the brands involved, and I like both the people that run those brands involved. But I mean, they've done things that I'm not the greatest fan of, to be honest, both of them. But I think this is super cool. I think it's like just such a juxtaposition of what really shouldn't work, but actually does. It's very much a Studio Underdog, and it's very much a Fears, and they come from very different angles of approach when it comes to watch design, and I think it super works. The price is epically good.
Yeah, I was joking with Nicholas in our chat that this is the most collabby collab that's ever collabed, because it literally is the DNA of both. I can't think of another collab that is so exactly like in equal proportions the DNA of each brand. It's spectacular. The shame is that nobody's ever going to be able to get hold of it, because it's not only is it 200 pieces, but it's at the British Watchmakers Show, which is completely sold out. So unless you were lucky enough to get to the British Watch and Clockmakers Show, and you're lucky enough to, I mean, I think this will be minutes.
Well, I mean, it'll be interesting because the way they do that is there's 2 sessions, a morning session and an afternoon session, and you get a ticket for either the morning or the afternoon. Most of the brands, what they do, and I think because Christopher Ward did something last year with that limited edition British Watchmakers Day Belcanto, and what they basically did was they split them in half, and they said only half are available in the morning session and half are available in the afternoon session, which I think is actually, you have to do that because you just alienate people if they only manage to get an afternoon ticket. But so it's basically going to be 100 per session. So yeah, it'll be.
Is it first come, first serve? Like they let in the gates and people run like a concert to get. Okay,
absolutely. That'll be and it will be a Rami.
Do you know what? I mean, this is a watch that I think they could sell probably 1,000 of.
Easily, but actually, I think the beauty of what they've done is the beauty of it. There's 200 of them. It's a smash together of 2 brands that, to be honest, on paper shouldn't work, but by virtue of them both being good at what they do, they've made it work. And there's only 200 of them, and I think if you make too many, it kind of dilutes the identity of each brand. When there's only a couple of hundred and they're in and they're gone, I think it just is a statement piece. And folk will talk about it. You know, these will change hands for a multitude of what they sell for originally.
Yeah, knowing, and I don't know Rich. I've met him a couple of times. I don't know him too well, but obviously I know Nicholas really well. I can imagine that days were spent over each minute detail, knowing that both of them are so design focused and they've got such great attention to detail. I can imagine the conversations over the indices were probably a week.
I think it just works so well.
Oh, so it's beautiful.
Well, I understand like the way they did it with the dial, that the numbers are floating above the green and white. I'd love to see that in the flesh to get that full 3-dimensional look at the watch. I bet it's spectacular.
Yeah, because I did speak to, because obviously that's the dial technology that Rich has taken from his Series 2 or his field watches. Yeah. And effectively it's 2 dials. So you've got the base dial, which is the color or the design, or you've got that there. And then you've got this effectively like a clear disc that's got all the numerals printed on it. But the screws are there because they had to, if I remember from Rich saying, they big challenges with when they originally were meant to be sandwiched, but you lost like some of the kind of refraction through the differentiation, and there was some issues just as well, I think, with material transfer and them actually physically touching. So they had to design these tiny little spacers that just lift them up between. You see the little spacer ring there. They've obviously had to do it slightly differently, I think, on that one. But it just looks so good. Like either field watches, if you'd never seen one of the Studio Underdog field watches, the real world watch is so much better than the videos or the pictures.
Yeah. I would absolutely, I would love to see that. And a couple of people have noted, Thelonious Monk says the price point for a Phase is a lot easier to digest versus the normal Brunswick pricing, etc. Yeah, it is right in between the two brands, isn't it, in terms of pricing? Great point. So actually, somebody is mentioning, Darren has mentioned it, also Junior says that he's seen it, that apparently there is a strap that you can get off AliExpress that does the similar to the Timex. So I've asked for the link. If anybody knows the link, put it in the chat and we'll pull it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up, let's go over to, here we go. We'll have to do this one. The Miss Piggy. We haven't talked this for a while, hasn't it? It's not this month, but it's interesting that it's aimed at smaller wrists. It's 34 millimeters, and instead of like the Kermit, where Kermit was on the front in a date disc, and he appeared once a month, Miss Piggy is on the back here, which is that on the rotor? Maybe is she on the rotor? Or not?
I don't. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, because then it would. I mean, should be spinning around like nobody's business.
I mean, check. Is it? What's the movement?
It looks like she is.
Is it their in-house movement they're using?
Oh, let's have a look.
I'm sure it is. Usually it is on those watches, but see if you can find. Because obviously with their,
it says view moi anytime. So
so I'm guessing it is the rotor. It must be if it's view anytime. You can just obviously take it off and move the watch round.
Which is quite funny because she's quite erratic anyway, isn't she? Like she's always flying all over the place as on the Muppets. So maybe a spinning round in the little window.
I think I actually like this. I got the original pink version, just a straight pink dialed version of this watch when they launched it, and I really like it. It's not for me. Would I buy it? No. The size doesn't upset me too much. I get why there's a little baguette kind of diamond esque, if it is a diamond or baguette diamond, whatever it is, up at 12. I get
like
why
the
that's there
too a lot. I like how they kind of integrated the bracelet. I think it's really nice.
And they're the little what do you call it? The kind of aircraft seat buckle for the latch on. It's really good. Fair play to them, I think it's good. I think a lot of folk were like, what are they doing when they brought the Kermit one out? But they've pushed hard into the whole Muppet collab. I think it's cool. It's not for me. I think it's cool. I think it's good that people and brands actually do this. It takes a bit of the seriousness out of it. I think it's good.
Yeah. I like the fact that it's not for everybody. that I think it actually appeals to me a lot in that way.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Okay, now following the amusing theme, we've got to talk about this. Mark was going to join us, but unfortunately he's not been feeling too well. But this was his favorite watch of last week. He said he absolutely loved it and he wanted to buy one like straight off as soon as he saw it. So,
oh yeah, that's right. He kept going on and on about this watch.
I couldn't shut him up. He's like, take my money. Like, I think he wanted one on the bracelet and he said, no, you can only really buy one of them at a time. He wanted to buy like at least one for every day of the week, I heard. But
have we entered an alternative universe?
He's not here to defend
just like,
himself.
is this Inception version 7?
Mark, he said he loved the metal strap on here and he was just absolutely loving it.
Yeah. Well, Mark's a doctor, so this could be a version of Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Some parallel universe.
Doctor Strange not in love.
Not in love.
Yeah, Robert's saying it's what made him ill. It possibly. So this is the second new 12, and it's not limited. I think they've stopped. You can so you can order it within a time window. It's not limited. It's just the time window is limited.
Yeah. They're going to make as many as I guess you order. Is that it?
Which I think is a good way to do it. To be honest,
for CW, absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think for something like this, how many of these kind of collab watches with second have been disappeared and folk kind of have had to battle over it. And the beauty of it is it means that they don't have to bring another version that's basically the same but tweaked out to satisfy the demand of people who get upset that they didn't get one. If you want one, you've got a 2-week window, fair enough, go get it. Then if you don't get it, then you had 2 weeks to get it, so you've only got yourself to blame.
That's right.
Yeah, so what was funny about this was I've been doing a lot more on Watch Crunch. In fact, I was arguing with somebody today about Shinola, so check me out on Watch Crunch and see whether you agree with my Shinola comments. Shinola. So people posted. Christopher Ward did a tease on this, and for some reason, Christopher Ward's version of a tease is, we'll just tell you exactly what it is. and so they teased it, and a couple of people were speculating, and I was lucky enough, they'd sent me a press release before this. I was reading the comments like, how can you not get this? How can you not get this from the tease? They basically gave away what it was. And then the second tease was essentially like it was like a curled up piece of ribbon or something, as if the watch itself was wrapped and there was a piece of ribbon around it, but even had like a little snake's tongue on it. And I'm thinking, and then the second obviously is known for this sort of pixelated design. So I don't think it was that much of a mental leap. I was going to joke with the Christopher Ward team that, hey, your tease is like, oh, here's almost exactly what it's going to be.
Well, you got to do your research. Remember, when you're CW, do your research. Right?
Do your research. I think this is a really. It's just a. I know. I'm sort of that era.
I love
it. Where
it's fun.
Was the mobile game? It is fun. Yeah.
I like this better than the Oris. For me, this would be something I would almost think about buying and then teasing Mark with it forever. But
I agree. Like, I quite like the Oris. I like the fact that I wouldn't buy one. I'd definitely buy that.
Yeah, I'd buy this.
So is that? I didn't know. Is this before? Is this the date window? Is something else, or have they just flattened out two of the blocks?
No, is that not? Where's this?
That's one
here.
Of the.
No, I'm going to guess. Is that not the thing the snake's trying to eat?
Yeah. So does it change with the date disc? I think it changes with the date disc. Does it?
Oh, it does.
There's some motion there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It does look like it's recessed.
Little Easter egg.
I go to the side image. You might tell from the side image there. See one that comes into an angle.
A false date window.
A false date window.
6 inch.
Which displays 6. Oh, so it does change. There we go.
Yeah.
It does change.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, wow.
I know. We're going to lose our moniker of Christopher Ward talk that we didn't know that.
Oh, my goodness.
Should read the press release, eh?
Oh, we should do our research.
Yeah.
Oh,
no one reads
too busy teasing Mark about it.
Copy paste. That's how press releases work.
Let's do ChatGPT. We'll do that.
No, we're all DeepSeek now.
Hiss made. Quite like that.
Was so last year. Oh, I shouldn't say that my Nvidia's tranked, but anyway. No, I lost like a Rolex worth of Nvidia when Nvidia went down. Moving swiftly on, because this is not financial advice. Okay, so do you know what? Next up, let's do this. I don't know, Dave. I know you're a bit of a G-Shock fan, like I am, but they kind of re-released these nostalgia ones where they took the color scheme from the original. This was the weirdest one because they'd already released the 5000R, and then they released this one, which is essentially the $50 one, just slightly thingied for 99. But what did you think of these? Maybe I would go for this one, but just the low end module.
I like a G-Shock. I've got way too many of them. I think they're getting a bit too a little bit too. I'm not going to say I'm running out of ideas. You know, they used to bring out, they still do occasionally, but they do some quite cool stuff. It just seems that they're kind of recycling an awful lot of, but it is their anniversary year, isn't it? It's the 50th anniversary year of Casio. Yeah. So I think they're leaning hard into the pull outs things from the vintage catalog and shove them out there again. I think these are just a little bit
I love cheap G-Shocks.
Yeah. I am. First of all, thank you, Memberbox. Thank you so much for the Danish Chrono.
And I looked it up, by the way. That's $6.87 US.
Oh, thank you. Very good. Yeah, thank you very much. I actually ordered. I don't know if this is available in the UK, Dave. You must have like thousands of them. But is the points program available in the UK? The Casio points program?
Not that I'm aware of, actually.
Well, so there's a points program, a G-Shock points program. And you can order. They used to have loads of stuff on it, hoodies and all sorts of stuff. But I think they must shut it down because now they've limited it. But I got enough points. There's a G-Shock rug, an area rug that is the 5600 dial. I just ordered it for the hell of it.
You brought me back.
I love it.
So it's an area rug. Let me see if I. Do you know what? Let me see if I can
Sam,
find it.
You lost me as a British guy when you used the phrase area.
Right.
I literally had to disown you at that point, but then you said it was a 5600, so you kind of got me back into the conversation.
Yeah, let me just. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can do it without showing my order.
If your grammar teacher at high school had heard you say area rug, she would have battered you around the classroom.
I have to say,
it's a rug.
I know. Well, I work because I work in
carpet.
I work in.
No, it's just a rug.
Yeah, I work in transportation industry for my full-time job, and I have to say route. Here we go. Look, it's an area rug. So,
how big is it? Oh, there it is.
Well, it looks like it's quite big.
Yeah, it does.
I'm saying that's going to be. It's going to be this kind of width, isn't it? If I'm looking at my desk at the moment, it's probably going to be like
3 or 4 feet.
Probably like the footprint of a decent chair.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it?
Cool,
So I'm just intrigued. It was only 200 points, and if you see some of the other stuff is like the toolbox is 900. This used to be pages and pages of stuff, but they've just limited it now.
How many points you got?
60 left because I ordered the stickers as well. I ordered the stickers in the rug.
Rug's cool, like it.
Yeah, well, we'll see what it looks like when it arrives. Okay, what is an area rug?
Exactly. It's exactly the same as a rug.
Looks like
it's just a rug.
It's 2 pi r squared. No, pi r squared. That's right. Sorry, wrong one. Pi r squared.
It's around a meter by a meter, or in American parlance, 2 point something feet by
in freedom inches.
Let's
have a look at. Okay, this one we didn't talk about. The Tudor, the Tiffany blue. Tudor jumping right on the Tiffany blue trend as it ends.
Yeah, I you know what though, I like it.
Yeah,
I mean I know it's a trend, and this is a very trendy color that might be going away, but I kind of like it.
I can see why they've done it. The pink one, then they batter it with this one. Is it not? Is it Beckham's team are in Miami? Is that right?
Is it in Miami? I can't remember. For California, I get it confused.
Football or soccer team?
Is it Miami? Soccer, not
soccer.
Football. Soccer.
See, that's I was wondering if that was a tie-up, because obviously he's a brand ambassador, isn't he? And they're playing into that whole kind of thing there. Pink one's gone now, but do you know what? Fair play. At least it's a narrative. At least they're trying to do something. I like the pink one, to be honest, but I do quite like pink. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Eric's gifted. Eric, thank you so much for gifting 5 Casual Watch Reviews memberships. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Much appreciated.
With a K. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny because David Beckham's also the brand ambassador. I don't know if he's in the UK, but he's the brand ambassador for Stella over in the US. I don't know. I don't think he's for the UK, is he?
Haven't ever
Messi
seen
is
that one, to
Miami.
be honest with you.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one, to be fair.
Messi's
Not
Miami.
Messi's
Yeah,
Miami.
Messi's in Miami. Yeah.
Messi. There you go.
Yeah, it's funny because I always joke at work about how Stella's done such a good marketing campaign over in the US because it's seen here as like a sophisticated French lager, not like in the UK where it's like what the football hooligans pound before a match.
Well, it's affectionately known as wife beater in the UK.
Well, do you remember? I tell people, and I pull up my picture of it just to show the point. But do you remember, Dave? Like, oh god, it was 10 years ago when they had to do all those billboards that said it only has 5 ingredients because people are like, "What are you putting in that Stella?" It's
Yeah,
people like
because it was people would get absolutely bouldered up on it. 5 cans in, and they turn into psychopaths.
Yeah. No, it's literally there is only 5 ingredients in this drink,
and but it's the cheapest of the cheap as well over here.
Yeah. We used to buy, because you could get it in. This is when I did drink. I don't drink anymore. But Weatherspoons, it was a pound a bottle, or like £1.25 a bottle.
Bargain.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I find here, by the way, that Beckham is president and co-owner of Inter Miami.
Oh, there we go. I knew there was some tie-up. I'm not the biggest football soccer fan in the world, but I thought there was some tie-up, and he's obviously he's their big ambassador, isn't he? So there we go. That's probably why
it makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
Okay, let's jump straight into both of your special areas. The 2 Speedmasters on the docket. This is the first one. This is the Moonphase with the meteorite dial, or the 2 Moonphases.
Yeah, I really like these. You don't, Dave. I really like these. I think the price is just too far away, but I want to like them, but having spent a bit of time with the 2 iterations of it, there are too many flaws aside from the price about them. Oh, really?
I
didn't know that.
So, of the 2 of them, I think this one is by a country mile better than the other one. I think the kind of the blue lifts it a little bit. The kind of the more natural meteorite dial, as opposed to that kind of PVD black meteorite dial, I think is a little bit nicer. The black one almost, unless you hit it with a lot of light, it kind of almost disappears. You don't really know what it is, which is fine, I guess, if you want subtle. But when you're buying a meteorite Bobby Dazzler watch, not many folk want to be that subtle, personally thinking. But it's way too thick, and this is a hand wind rather than an automatic, and it's still a chunky boy. Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, it's Virgin on 14 mil.
I was going to say probably 14 if you think it's too thick.
Tech data.
Nearly 13.6.
It's by no means the thickest one out there, but it's a bit big as well. Is it not like 40?
It's a 44. A lot of these are
43.
43.
So the thing for me is this should have been, for me personally, in a regular Speedmaster sized case. There's no reason that they couldn't have. It should have been in a more regular 41 mil Speedmaster case.
Put a lot of these, like Dark Side of the Moon, Gray Side of the Moon, they're in these big cases.
They are traditionally, but then
I can't wear it.
Yeah, they are, but they also make a lot of song and dance about the ceramic ones have to be, because they've got 21 mil lug width and stuff. They have to be that bit chunkier for the ceramic material, which probably makes some degree of sense for kind of structural integrity. But this is a metal case. They're nice, but put it this way, there would be an awful lot of Speedmasters I'd buy before this one, like a lot. And I mean, I'm lucky to have quite a few. There's still a lot of ones that I don't have that I'd buy way before this. I just think it's a little bit too busy, too much going on. That one, frankly, is boring.
I don't. It appeals to me, and I can't exactly say why, independent of any issues associated with it working properly, which that's another issue. But for me, the only thing that would stop, I like the regular Speedy chronoscope, for example. That's one I've had my eyes on for a while. I would get before this, and the new first Omega in Space I would get before this. But it still appeals to me. Yeah.
I like the thought of liking it, and was looking at a few things like size, thickness, price,
Right.
etc., busyness of the dial. And then when I handled it, I was like, yeah, this hasn't assuaged any of those issues. And if in fact it's probably reinforced more of them. So I was kind of like, no. Weirdly, of all the Omega releases recently, one of the most basic watches they've released, I had it side by side with it as well. And I was like, now that is a cool watch, which was the Aquaterra in the turquoise dial, with the kind of fume turquoise dial.
Mm-hmm.
That, especially in the smaller of the two sizes, they're both nice, but the smaller, the 38, I think it is unbelievably good looking watch. For me, I quite like Aquaterras, but they're a wee bit dressy, and the dials are always, for me, a bit boring's the wrong word, but they're very kind of like reserved. And this one's like properly
Dull,
like
maybe.
poppy, really excellent, sporty looking dial. And I think in the UK it's about £6,000, which is a lot of money, of course, but it's definitely the more entry point of Omega, and it's one of the best looking watches in my opinion.
Yeah. So Darren came through for us. He said he couldn't find the AliExpress strap that was like the Timex, but he has found Strapcode one, and this is true. So we're on Strapcode, sorry, not Strapco. It looks like it's similar. If I just scroll through here, it looks like there is a picture that shows that it isn't. It does look like it's not far off.
It's not a million miles away, is it?
Yeah. So
I was wondering who has a patent on this. Somebody has to.
Yeah. So not bad for straight end.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You have it on your Moonphase.
That looks really good, actually. Yeah. On an Omega.
Oh,
except
and
those straight end links. Ugh.
Yeah, they're straight end links, but
Thomas
Yeah,
has
it's not
done.
too bad.
Thomas has done us a little super sticker here. Opinions on Shellman and Raymond Wheel Wild.
I don't know this one.
Raymond Weil. It's a German V, isn't it?
Weil.
Raymond
Yeah,
Weil.
right. You shall pronounce it Weil.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's pull it up. So
let's aggravate the Germans that are watching us.
This is where Thomas has found out he's put some like kind of proper dodgy code into this search. Be careful. I would look up what you're looking up before you put this on the screen, Sam, just in case Thomas is about to have us done over.
I typed in.
Not that we don't trust you, Thomas, but
no.
If it was me, I would be doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. I typed in ramen for some reason. God must be hungry. Oh, here we go. I think this is it. This is it. It's like a pole router. Oh,
yeah. I know the watch. I know exactly the watch he means now.
Yeah.
I think they launched this, or a version of this, at Watches and Wonders last year. Rings a bell. Kind of a bit like there's a Longines that's a wee bit like this, similar kind of vintage series one as well. If I think that's the one I think it is, and it looks certainly very similar, this might be a collab variant or something like that. It was a very, very good looking watch. I think, is it about 38, 39 mil?
That would be perfect at 38.
39, yeah,
39.5. Yeah. There you go. 9.25 thin. That's nice. That is exactly the one. This looks like a collab variant of it. That is an excellent watch, and I don't think the price is insane either, is it?
What is the price?
Raymond Weil typically is not insane. There was a price at the bottom, but I don't know what currency it was in. Oh, there you go. €2,000. So again, similar price point to that Timex. Yeah, I think that's a really nice alternative choice at $2,000 that you can get out there.
That's nice.
And
I think the
Raymond Weil's
Longines is more. I think that's a little bit more than that one.
Probably in the 2.5 to 3.
2.5, I think it is in the US at least. Yeah,
I think that's a good looking watch.
Good choice.
Yeah, good. Okay, this next one really hurts my heart, because if I was going to get a Speedy again, I absolutely love this, but it hurts.
You need to get a Speedy again.
$10,000.
Same problem.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. Go on, Dave.
It's expensive. It's the right size though.
Right. Size is bang on.
Except
for the thickness, which is ludicrous.
What is
really?
it?
Let's have a look.
Pull it up, have a look. 14 point.
Yep. Yeah, 14.7.
Proper. Yeah, and you know what annoys me about this? It's, if I remember rightly, it's an automatic, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's an auto movement.
Coaxial, the coaxial auto.
This self-winded, this absolutely should have had the standard hand wind caliber in it. and then it could have been markedly thinner. You know, like 39.5 or whatever it is in the same size as the new CK, not CK, sorry, the new First Omega in Space.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not, it's not thin, but it's not ludicrously thick. That would have been so much better with that. Bracelet about it's good. I love, personally, the aesthetic. I like the color. It harks back to the kind of Flightmaster days.
So it reminds me of my Flightmaster, which I have, which by the way is ridiculously thick, but I do love it. I don't mind a thick watch like this. I don't.
See, I don't mind it on something like a Flightmaster or a Z33 or you know, these or a Ploprof, which are just big chunky watches. But this is just disproportionately thick for its size, personally, and I think for me,
I'd have to see it.
I don't understand the concept of putting an automatic in it when it doesn't need it, you know. But anyway, it's aesthetically a great looking watch. I've tried it on and it just feels weird when you then try on a First Omega in Space.
You had to try it on with the bracelet. Was it with the bracelet? Okay.
I tried it with both, and it's this was a watch that I absolutely wanted to love, and just
you've done me a great
service. So many Speedmasters I'd buy before this one. If I love the color scheme though, I do love.
Yeah, I do love the color scheme. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I loved everything about this, but yeah, thank you for you've done me a great service putting me up it. So
I'll try it on.
I would find that if you find it thick, I would find it thick, you know, very thick as well.
It's cool and folk will love it. And when you see one, it's a cool looking watch. I just think for me, it's just missed the mark annoyingly but then I get very, very specific about Speedmasters, I have to say. So, but yeah, it's
the date window.
So near, but so far.
Yeah, it's funny. It's how they balance, isn't it? A lot of times, I'm finding that I can only wear a larger watch if it's balanced nicely. It's something that's bothering me more as I get more into watches, or maybe as I get more older. That a big chunky watch, I can only like it if it's balanced well. But this looks like I thought it was going to be a lot thinner than that. I thought it was going to be like a Speedmaster professional thickness.
Yeah. You see, I think that's a refinement thing as well that comes with time, Sam. You know, the more or longer you've been into watches, I think when you first get into it, you get excited and like everything's cool. Oh, I'll have that, I'll have this, I'll get that, I'll get this. And you slowly begin to understand that there's things that just are common to all watches that have to be right. How it wears, the balance point, you know, just like if it digs in, it doesn't dig in, just silly little things that they really, you start to focus in on before the product. And I think you're right, like thicknesses and how wearability and weight and all these things, I think, begin to become much more important to you because you realize there's an awful lot of watches out there. And at 10 grand, there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of watches you could probably choose from.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody on my Grand Seiko video where I had the Grand Seiko GMT spring drive and it just like hung off my wrist and I didn't like it. Somebody actually, I get loads of comments on it every week about basically people who are really annoyed at me for not liking it. But somebody actually replied this week, said, "You're right. I tried it on in the store and it hangs it top heavy and it hangs off your wrist." And I was like,
"Yeah,
thank you for agreeing." You're like the only one that's agreeing with me who's actually tried it on.
Exactly. It's like for me, the Bulgari Octafinissimo is one of the coolest looking watches. And I've said that for 10 plus years. And I desperately, to this day, I desperately want one. And I've been so many times, walked in with the money to buy it, put it on my wrist and gone, it just isn't comfy. It just doesn't sit on me. And it looks like, I think I've got this, when I wear it, I think, oh, that looks weird. And then a folk with me and they go, it looks absolutely fine. It looks totally fine on your wrist. And I'm just like, yeah, but it's like, you know, when you try, I don't know, a shirt or a t-shirt on and it just nips under the arms and you say to folk, does this look okay? And they kind of go, it looks fine. But you're just like, it just feels a bit kind of constraining. It's like that with me with that. And I just, and when I was younger, I probably would have gone, it doesn't matter, just get it. You want it, get it. And now I'm just like, I'm not giving you 16, 17 grand for something that is going to annoy the bejesus.
That's the way it is with the Seamaster World Time too. I just want to love it so much, that dial laser bladed dial is amazing. And every time I put it on my wrist, I keep thinking, well, maybe it'll be different this time.
Mhm.
I put it on my wrist and it's like, I can't wear this. It's
I can't
a
convince
monster.
myself
I
of
can't do it.
And it's a bit like that with those meteorites. I tried them on, properly sized and everything, and I was just like, I mean, to be fair, Omegas as a general rule, there's none of them that are outrageously uncomfy. I just put it on and I went, there's so many other Omegas
Mhm.
that feel just so much better on my wrist than this. At less money, the same money, and more money, I can't bring myself, because what I found over time is they kind of slowly migrate towards the back of the pile, and then you're thinking, what's the point of that watch when like I've got no safe queens, but I'm like, if they just keep moving back in the pile to the point where you think, even sometimes I take them out and put it on and I go, oh, no, it doesn't feel great. I'll go back to the things I know I like, and I'm like, just stop buying watches that do that to you.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's like a joke. I think I've joked on the channel. It's like a university, when you're at university and you've got roommates. Like the first couple of weeks, minor quirks, you're like, oh, that's okay. And then after 6 months, you're like, I will probably kill you if you do that. If you drink my milk again, there will be violence. German, of course, would never actually.
That's a good analogy.
So next, actually, speaking of Grand Seiko, Todd, this was one of your last picks.
Yeah, one of my last picks. Speaking of Grand Seiko, it's a surprising dial that's actually drawn from nature. I mean, Grand Seiko's never done that before.
This is a whole new idea. Like, what? This is revolutionary.
It blew my mind that they could actually do something like this.
But by any chance, someone at Grand Seiko look out the window of the atelier and just decide
they look
that
out the
view
window for inspiration.
Just unbelievable. Whatever.
I love this dial. I just love this dial.
Super cool.
It's just it's the form factor that they've used many times, but something about this dial, the texture, it's
40 mil titanium.
Yeah, great size,
banging watch, great movement. I mean, I know a lot of folk get hung up in Grand Seiko about, it's just a very expensive Seiko, but honestly, you have to find the one that's right for you and try one day. And actually, for me, this what we were talking about earlier, I have never found personally a Grand Seiko that I haven't worn and thought that is just an amazingly comfortable, well-wearing watch. Even with all the issues that folk claim about, the bracelets don't have micro adjust, honestly, once you mess about with it and you get it sized for yourself, I have honestly never had one that I've ever at any point gone, oh yeah, it's too tight, it nips, it's too loose, it doesn't fit. They just wear beautifully. And I think the Japanese are extremely good generally at ergonomics, not just in watches, but in lots of things. And I think Grand Seiko is a very good example of that.
Yeah, I would get one in this case shape again. Because I did buy the quartz GMT after that as well. And I have to say, on the wrist, I was joking with somebody at work who's got the snowflake. I was saying that when you looked at it on the wrist, it was like wearing a textbook on how to make a perfect watch.
Yeah.
Everything about it was perfect, which in made it not perfect. It was like the pure, like not uncanny valley, but like it was complete, utter, total perfection. And yeah, it's but I would buy one this case, the GS44, or I don't know if this is GS44 case.
No, that's not the 44. That's the Elegance. No, is that the Heritage case?
Yeah,
it's not 44 GS. 44 GS has got the faceted lugs on it.
Yeah, I want that. They're the one that's like the classic that harkens back to the original Grand Seiko. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, like Barasic time. Excellent work. Excellent comment.
I love it. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you gotta put that up there.
and you know, and the tiers of the pink one are from this Grand Seiko.
There you go.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah.
Move it down. There you go. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
dial.
there we go. Look at that dial. Yeah, that's the case that I absolutely love. That's the GS44, is it? Case.
That's the 44 and the 36.5. Believe it or not. Look at the state of my fingers. Magnified.
Yeah, this is because that's their design. That's the DNA of the original Grand Seiko. Had that case style.
Yeah, Jesus.
Beautiful.
Because my camera's upside down, everything's backwards here. This is very bizarre. There we go.
There you go.
But yeah, that's the case you like, isn't it?
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah. They are just
quartz in that
stunning.
as well, don't
No, that yeah, I think they do quartz as well. Yep, I think they do.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think I might have to because I thought actually that the hands would bother me that they weren't loomed, but they don't. They don't bother me because they're so shiny, aren't they? The hands.
I mean, yeah, I mean, their whole narrative of all the faceting and different polished bits and the tiniest glimpse of there's no such thing as light and dark, just shades of blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's great until you're in the cinema and you've got no idea what time it is and you've missed the bus. But other than that, it's fine. You know, don't let practicalities of life get in the road of a lovely story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, well, usually the person next to you is texting on the phone, so you can use the light, the light off that.
Light off the cell phone.
Oh, here we go. Here's my last one. This is a little. So I'm trying not to buy any. I mean, it's only January, so I'm not going to pat myself on the back.
You're going to fail, by the way, just so you know, you're going to fail.
Yeah. Well, I know
down.
This was something that tickled me. The Bulova snorkel.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, there's something just charming about it. It's quartz. It's cheeky.
Excellent.
Yeah. Have you seen these in person, Dave? Have you seen one?
I did get to see them. It's like, pardon me, Maurice Lacroix did the icons in the kind of recycled ocean plastics. Remember a few years back, they still do them. Obviously, you've got Swatch doing all of the Blancpain kind of 50 fathom stuff. You've got the moon swatches and stuff as well. I think it just kind of plays into this narrative. I think they're cool looking watches. The Devil Diver's a good looking little watch.
Yeah, I've held the original Devil Divers, and this looks like a pretty darn good.
Yeah,
I
for $350, to be honest, buy a Swatch or buy one of them.
Right. This has the 256K quartz movement.
Yep, it's a cool watch, and it looks very much like an isofrane. Not an isofrane, sorry. What's that strap?
Tropic?
Tropic, yeah. Very much like it, but it looks...
They're made by the same
much
company,
like,
aren't they?
Looks, yeah, it does look like it. It looks remarkably similar to the Tropic stuff. It probably is, to be fair. Bulova will have the pool as a size of brand with Citizen Group to get them. You know, but that for $350, I guarantee you, is a significantly nicer watch than you'll get from Swatch. And I do like a Swatch watch.
I would
that's a banging watch for $350. Nice summer watch, winning. And looks like it's got a proper screw down case back, so you could probably service it or at least fix it.
Yeah, I love everything about this watch. Chris has got his hands on all of them, and he really liked them.
Yep, I like that crown colorways too. That one is
that green's super cool as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, there we go. We're at the.
Right.
I did have one more, but we're going a little bit over time, aren't we? In fact, actually, do you know what? Let's
put it in.
Do you know, Dave, how this works? So,
yes, this is their high comp, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is it's.
Do you want to know how it works, Sam?
Oh yeah,
it works by magic. Magic.
Yeah,
is how it works.
spin round, don't they? Because the normal one, these are numbers, aren't they? And it's the number that is the current time is in silver.
So you've got. You've normally got the two different discs. If you remember, you've got like the inner disc and the outer disc with all the different cities, but they're usually slightly offset. So if you look at like the Omega World Timer and things like that, you've got them. But obviously, because these are in little stocks, you've got the different cities there.
And they do rotate based on the.
So you can base. I think it's the way you, if I remember rightly, you set it based on where you want the time to be set for the World Timer and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean. Louis Vuitton, I'm not always their biggest aesthetic fan, but having been lucky enough to be in their kind of atelier a few times just outside Geneva, Fabrique de Ton are, when it comes to high complications, they are absolutely up there with the best in the world when it comes to doing what they do. As I said, actually aesthetically, this one is, I could get on board with this one, but a lot of the others I couldn't. But that's a cool looking watch.
Yeah. It is.
I like it, but for 100,000, yeah,
$100,000. That's all.
Cheap.
Bargain.
Or 10 thick Speedmasters. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much big thanks to the panel. Thank you everyone for all of the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the new memberships. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. It's now on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to Dave at Scottish Watches. And Todd, Seiko Todd on Instagram.
On IG. That's me.
On IG, yeah. All the links are in the description down below. as well as the members that couldn't, didn't want to show their faces. There's links are still in there as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care. Big